Welcome to our presentation on phonetics based on Chapter 2 of Language Files. Today we're exploring the fundamental concepts of phonetics and how they apply to language. Phonetics is the study of the minimal units that make up language. It is further divided into three types: articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. The simplest method of analyzing phonetics is using impressionistic phonetic transcription, or writing down speech sounds in the way they are pronounced. The book uses the International Phonetic Alphabet to represent speech sounds. A good phonetic transcription system has the following three qualities. Each symbol represents exactly one sound, and each sound has exactly one symbol. Different sounds have different symbols, and similar sounds should be represented similarly. To accurately represent sounds, we use the International Phonetic Alphabet, or the IPA. The IPA provides a unique symbol for each distinct sound, allowing for consistent transcription across languages. For example, the sound p and pat and b and bat are represented distinctly. These charts show a basic representation of the International Phonetic Alphabet. The full IPA includes more symbols for various languages and dialects. This slide concerns the three kinds of phonetics. Articulatory phonetics studies how speech sounds are produced by the movement of the vocal organs. Acoustic phonetics studies the physical properties of speech sounds as they travel through the air, and auditory phonetics studies how sounds are perceived and processed by the ear and brain. Speech can be divided into two types: segments and suprasegmentals. They're important to know when creating or understanding a phonetic transcription. Segments are what the book calls discrete units of speech, and they can be classified as consonants or vowels. Segments are easily represented by phonetic symbols. They'll be the subject of the following slides about linguistic features such as articulation, place, and manner. Suprasegmentals are trickier to assign a symbol. Suprasegmentals are properties that accompany segments such as stress, tone, and intonation. They can be represented in several ways. Intonation concerns the pitch movement of the way a word is pronounced, which can influence meaning. Similarly, in some languages, meaning is dependent on tone. The same word pronounced with two different tones mean two different things. Stress is the emphasis placed on certain symbols within a word. The book defines syllables as a unit of speech. Monosyllabic words are composed of just one syllable, but a word can have any number of syllables. A syllable is composed of an onset and a rhyme. The rhyme is the vowel in any succeeding consonants, and the onset is any consonants that precede the vowel. The rhyme is further divided into a nucleus and a coda. The nucleus is the vowel or vowel-like sound of the rhyme, and the coda is any succeeding consonants. The picture on the right gives a demonstration of how a syllable is broken down into all these parts. In the word cat, for example, the k sound would be the onset, at would be the rhyme, a or a would be the nucleus, and t would be the coda. Vowels and consonants are distinguished by the quality of the airflow while pronouncing them. Consonants have a constriction or an obstruction that impedes airflow, while vowels allow air to flow more freely. Vowels can be sorted into diphthongs and monophthongs. Monophthongs are simple vowels that consist of only one sound, while diphthongs combine more than one sound into one vowel. The place of articulation is where in the vocal tract sounds are produced. There are 8 places of articulation: bilabial, where the lips are brought together, labial dental, the bottom lip behind the teeth, interdental, between the teeth, alveolar, the ridge, postalveolar, behind the ridge, palatal, where the tongue is at the roof, velar, the very back, and glottal, where the air stops at the glottis. The diagram to the right is a colored diagram of the places where these sounds take place in the vocal tract. Manner of articulation is how the airflow is restricted. When airflow is restricted, it's called a stop. There are 5 kinds of stops. Fricative, which is a nearly complete obstruction of air. Affricates, where the airstream is stopped and then opens into a fricative. Nasal, where the nasal cavity is opened to the vocal tract. Approximates, which is a slight constriction of vocal tracts. And flaps, where there's a complete obstruction of air, but it's quicker. The chart to the left from the textbook provides the intersection of place and manner. Voice, or voicing, is determined by whether the vocal folds vibrate or not during articulation. This determines the category of a word, whether a word might be a voiced palatal glide or a voiceless bilabial stop. This chart from the textbook is a guideline of how to determine the category of a word using voice, place, manner. You can see where place and manner intersect like the last chart, while the coloring of the chart indicates whether a sound might be voiceless or voiced. Acoustic phonetics studies the physical properties of sounds. Key aspects include frequency, the pitch of the sound, duration, the length of time the sound is produced, and amplitude, the loudness of the sound. Understanding these properties helps us analyze speech and its characteristics in different languages. Auditory phonetics concerns how the human ear perceives sounds. This involves studying the auditory system and how it processes different frequency and amplitudes. Factors such as timbre and clarity also play a role in our perception of speech. Phonetics is crucial for various fields, including speech pathology, which diagnoses and treats speech disorders, language teaching, which helps learners produce accurate sounds in a language, as well as meanings of those sounds, and linguistics, understanding any sound made in a language. In summary, phonetics provides valuable insight into the sounds of language. By studying how sounds are produced, transmitted, and perceived, we can enhance our understanding of communication.